All right, people. Lewis here. It's a Friday night. Feeling all right. So I'm going to open up the YouTube channel for some questions. So if you got a question, pop it in the chat box, and we will see how things get going. Probably going to take a few minutes for a few people to start getting involved. So in the meantime, let's see if we've got any YouTube questions. Watching a bit of Jordan Peterson, one of my new favourite people to watch. Let's see what YouTube questions we've got here. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a good New Year's. What did I get up to? I ended up going out with some friends. It's really good, actually. A really chilled night. Just, yeah, didn't do anything intoxicating. Met some old friends. I didn't end up going to church, so kind of regret not going to church, actually. That would have been pretty cool, I think, to do on New Year's Eve. But oh well. Can't be perfect. God, geez, my computer's so slow today. It's agonizingly slow. So, guys, if you just tuned in, obviously I'm doing a live Q&A. So if you've got any questions, just add it in the chat box. For now, I am just going through a few YouTube comments that I've got over the past couple of days. Hopefully this is going to be more of a regular thing. If anyone's seen my Patreon channel, they'll realise that January is a difficult month, really, for me. Or a difficult month, I think, for self-employed people, mainly because everyone goes back to work and you're, for the most part, stuck in the house. So I'm trying to find some sort of space where I can set up maybe like a talk show kind of vibe, where I go on and do live Q&A every day, maybe, and get people on podcasts, yeah, and be in an environment with other people around. So I think that's quite healthy, really. By the time I get these YouTube videos loaded, you know, I'm going to probably have questions to answer. So yeah, I can see a few people answering questions. Keep going. Keep asking, and I'll just quickly run through these ones here. They're probably not even questions. This one's from the push down exercise. Someone's put, thanks for the reminder that this is a gift to be able to feel the energies. I can only see that some of the time right now. Thanks for doing this video. Yeah, I think it's important to realize that healing really is a gift. When you think about the majority of the planet these days is quite ill and sick and living in untruth, then having the opportunity to do something like Nutritional Balancing Program is really it's a gift more than anything. And for you to feel energies and chakras and to get guidance and to be more spiritually orientated is definitely a gift. Although in the beginning it might feel a bit weird and scary, it's definitely something that you should be kind of proud about, I suppose, and just honor that as much as possible. It's a real beautiful blessing. So while I'm answering these comments, I'm just going to leave a reply to the people with a link to this live. I'll just do a few more of these comments, and then we'll move on to the live chat comments. So I've got to leave it 5 minutes usually when I go live, because that's when everyone gets a notification. If you subscribe to the channel, what you need to do is you need to make sure that next to subscribe there's a bell icon. Click the bell icon, so that means you're going to get notifications every time we go live and every time we put a video up. If you don't do that, then sometimes you don't get notifications whether we're going live or not. So do that. If you subscribe, click the bell button, and you'll get a notification every time we go live, etc. This is a comment on the visual snow, on a visual snow video. I didn't find out this was normal until it was 19 years old. I don't think it's normal. Actually, my reason for doing acid for the first time, my friends said it might be something deeper and would be explained after a good trip. It didn't explain anything, but it was really nice when all the colourful microdots exploded and turned from one solid colour to the next, as even trying on 100 different shades of sunglasses. So what you're saying is that you had visual snow and then you did acid, and then all the colours in the visual snow started expanding and turned into fireworks. That's quite a nice thing. I suppose if that's the case, then, you know, you could argue that this visual snow is coming from the brain, which we believe it is to be. And I believe it's something to do with copper toxicity or a vitamin deficiency, a mineral at the back of the brain. Because if it was some permanent thing, the brain wouldn't be able to manipulate it, I wouldn't imagine. But anyway, interesting comment. Okay, this one's comments from a video I did. 2 more, and I'll get onto all you guys that are answering on this live chat. This one's from the live video I did a couple of days back about doing coffee enemas. Someone's wrote, they work. I don't care what the haters say. If you do it safely, you feel great. I mean, God, coffee enemas have been going for hundreds of years, as far as I'm aware. I mean, the Gerson method, the Gerson therapy, which is a very famous cancer protocol, I think they was recommending to do 6 coffee enemas a day. I mean, if this was helping with people with cancer, then it just goes to show how powerful they are. I once heard of someone was trying to heal cancer, and they didn't get up at 2 a.m. in the morning to do their coffee enema. And they ended up unfortunately dying because of toxin overload. And this is, in my opinion, a testament to how powerful the coffee enemas are able to draw toxins out of the body. Obviously, that's an extreme case with cancer, but that's what happened. And it just goes to show you that coffee enemas do really massively reduce toxins a lot. So, you know, if you're doing a cancer protocol, one thing that we always talk about is you need to be super, super diligent with doing anything cancer-wise, because cancer is such an aggressive disease that you need to really come at it from like all angles. All right. This one's from a video entitled Answering YouTube Comments. I really benefited from your advice on exercise. I think a lot of people need to hear this message. So yeah, I think I was saying, oh wow, the comments are piling up on the video. Cool, I'll get to them soon. Keep asking them because I get through the comments pretty quick. So yeah, I was talking about exercise in the nutritional balancing program, and I think it's important to realize that the majority of people are burnt out. I've not actually seen a hair analysis test by someone who's not in burnout. So when you think about it, if you're in adrenal burnout, you don't want to be, exercise is not going to fix it. You know, if your engine in the car isn't working, the last thing you want to be doing is putting your foot down on the gas. It's not going to make things better. Generally, what happens with people who've got adrenal fatigue and they do exercise is what they'll do is they'll force themselves to do a heavy exercise, which forces their adrenal glands to kick into action. They force it into action. And when that happens, you get a release of endorphins, you get a release of adrenaline, cortisol, and it gives you a temporary high. It makes you temporarily feel better. Similar to people who take drugs. You know, if you're a drug taker and you've ever got to that stage like I did, whereby you couldn't go out on a night out and not feel good without taking drugs, that's a sign that your adrenal glands are completely wore out. But as soon as you're taking the drugs, it forces your adrenal glands to push out so many hormones, and the brain releases endorphins that you'll feel good. But generally what you'll find is as you move further and further down the line, you'll need more and more drugs to get that same high. And that's because the adrenal glands are just completely shot. So when you're doing something like nutritional balancing, we recommend people not to do heavy exercise, because you're basically just tiring out the adrenal glands and making the process of healing longer, which no one wants, of course. All right, cool. So let's move on to the actual video that we're talking about today. All right, keep asking questions. Well, I've just seen a question about, you know, saying visual snow is not coming from the brain. Visual snow is coming from the brain because actually that's been proven. That's a 100% fact. Tests have been done on visual snow patients, and it is coming from the lingual gyrus section of the brain. So you can't turn around and say visual snow is not coming from the brain, because it 100% is. That is a proven fact that is you know, nobody can deny that. That's scientific. So yeah, I wanted to that was at the bottom of the questions down here. All right, cool. I think I have stones, but no gallbladder. That doesn't make sense. I'm assuming you do have a gallbladder and you might have gallbladder stones. Could my bile be reacting to EMFs? I'm ready to do home surgery in the kitchen. I'm not sure what you mean by this. I assume that you're suffering from gallbladder stones. The best thing to do is to try and follow a nutritional balancing program. But we also recommend a gallbladder flush. If you want more information, just send me an email, lewis@deephealingspace.com. But it's basically a protocol where you'll drink apple cider vinegar. You'll have some apple cider vinegar for a few days, which helps to break down the calcification of the stones. I can't remember it exactly. That's why you need to send me an email. But then on the 5th or 6th day, I think you drink like half a cup of olive oil with a little bit of organic lemon. And then you lie on your side all night, get up in the morning, drink some Epsom salts and do a coffee enema. And that helps to break down the gallstones. Now, in regards to EMFs, you know, if you've got gallstones, which most people have anyway, but generally people who've got EMF sensitivity tend to have high calcium in the cells anyway. You know, the calcium potentially in the gallbladder and in the bile could be not reacting to EMFs, but when that's high within the body, the EMFs can't penetrate through the body. So the cells tend to vibrate. You tend to get hardening of calcium. Many people have got EMF sensitivity, and the main things that people suffer from are copper toxicity, aluminium toxicity, mercury toxicity, calcium dysregulation, and a off-kilter sodium-potassium ratio. Sodium-potassium are basically the body's electrical, you know, you get a positive and a negative outside of the cell. So when that's out of balance, you get like weird fire-offs of electricity. That's why a lot of people get like electric shocks sometimes when they touch metal. They turn into someone from X-Men. But I assume you're talking about gallstones. So I would say obviously to follow a nutritional balancing program and to start a liver and gallbladder flush. That will give you a good head start. I can't bear even 5 minutes with my cell phone or device. All right, so this person's saying they don't have a gallbladder. Yeah, get in touch with me because this is confusing. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to tell me. If if you're struggling to be on the phone with EMFs, then try to call me on your landline. Use a landline phone, which is lower in EMFs, and give me a call. My number is on my website, deephealingspace.com. I'll be able to talk to you much better there. Can you talk a little bit about the neck pull and to do it? So basically what happens with the neck pull is if you feel at the back of your neck, there is a specific bone that comes out a little bit more than others. That's the bone that will pop a little bit when you do the neck pull. So basically what happens when you do this exercise is that it pops this particular bone. I'm not exactly sure which vertebrae it is, but when you do that, it allows energy to move down the spine more. So it's probably going to look weird me doing it on camera because I basically look like I'm imitating a chicken. But basically what you got to do is you got to relax, and ideally you do this lying down, but basically you got to relax with the back straight, allow the shoulders to just drop, and basically what you do is you keep your shoulders straight and the neck moves forwards, and in a kind of clicking fashion, a little bit like a chicken, but instead of all of your shoulders and arms like moving, you try and keep your shoulders straight and relax, and do that. Practice it enough, you'll feel a click at the back of your neck, and that's the neck pull. And when you do that click, it's the energy will move down the body. So hope that's good. Next time you ask me that question, I'll ensure that I've got a chicken outfit, in my wardrobe I could quickly pop on. I can see myself live doing it now. There's a bit of a time difference. All right, keep questions coming, people. So, can I eat sardines with white rice, as I find them most delicious? No, we don't recommend white rice, unfortunately. I mean, especially not white rice. I mean, yeah, you could probably get away with a little brown rice or a little basmati rice now and again, but I would definitely not mix white rice with sardines, unfortunately. A nice combination, actually, is sardines and peas. I like that combination, so try that one. Sardines, peas with a bit of sea salt. You'll be a happy man. Can you reply to my email? I want to start the nutritional diet. What's your email? I usually reply to everyone's email. I did reply to your email. I remember looking at that email, and I did reply to it. Check your junk email. If it's not in junk, send me an email again. I'll try and send it you back. If you don't receive it, then there's something weird's going off. Check your spam, check your junk. If you're not receiving anything, call me up. My number's on my website. If you want my number and you call in internationally, it'll be +447961805129. All right, +447961805129. But I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that email, and I'm pretty sure I replied to it. So check your spam and check your junk. I think people having a chat here. My internal abdominal pressure is causing horrific pulsatile tinnitus. I cannot go to those practicing monsters. What can I do to get relief before going back to those legal drug dealers? Abdominal pressure is causing tinnitus. Tinnitus is a weird one. Tinnitus can be caused by a few things mainly. I'd say the most common one is heavy metal toxicity in the cochlea, in the ear. Another thing is heavy metal toxicity in the brain that processes hearing. Another is TMJ. The TMJ joint is the jaw joint. That can actually cause tinnitus. So it would be a good idea to go and see a chiropractor. If abdominal pressure is causing you tinnitus, I would probably hazard a guess that there's a potentiality that there's some sort of structural misalignment, which is pinching on some sort of nerve. So I would go and see a chiropractor, but obviously following a nutritional balancing program is going to be really good for helping with, releasing them toxins out of the brain. I've never really had tinnitus, but I'll tell you, I do sometimes. It does come on when I'm doing a coffee enema, which is a sign to me that there's toxins running around that's gone through my ear in the bloodstream, and it's temporarily caused tinnitus. If I was suffering from tinnitus, I would definitely use a near-infrared lamp, a near-infrared sauna lamp that we recommend, a single light therapy lamp, and I would shine it on my ear every day. I would shine it for about 10 minutes on each ear, around 6 times per day. I would also go and see a chiropractor, and I'll go and check out the TMJ joint and see if there's any misalignment. I would also ensure that I'm doing, especially if I had abdominal pressure, doing coffee enemas, making sure you're following the program, and shining the lamp on your abdominal area and on your spine at the same level as where you're getting the abdominal pressure. That's probably what I would do. Hi, Lewis. A few weeks back, I told you I was having some sleep issues. As it turns out, I wasn't eating enough when I wasn't chewing my food. Sleeping like a baby now. Well, that's good news. I think as you'll start to follow through the nutritional balancing program, as a practitioner, sometimes it's pretty impossible to figure out exactly what's causing a person not to sleep, because I was thinking about doing a video about this the other day on things that make you not sleep. Sorry, and the list is like huge. I probably could think of 50 different things that would stop people from not sleeping. So sometimes it does take a bit of effort on your part to kind of figure out exactly what it is. That's why it's important to read Dr. Wilson's articles, and that's why I do videos on sleep and all that sort of stuff, because there's so many different factors involved. Sometimes it's such a hidden menace. You could even have poor sleep because you're sleeping on like ley lines, for example, or you've got EMF coming out of wires, or your mattress might be a metal mattress that's actually creating an EMF antenna. There's so many things: darkness, noise, all sorts of stuff. Eating too late, not chewing your food. So I'm glad you figured that out. That's good stuff. How can my tests come back normal, but I'm sick and in excruciating pain? Liver was supposed to be normal in October. Adrenal's supposed to be normal. So I'm pretty sure that you haven't done, this is not from a hair analysis test, because it's not going to come back normal with adrenals. A lot of doctors will use blood tests to measure things like liver issues and adrenal problems. I think it's important to realize that the blood is a buffered system. So what that basically means is that the body will basically try to keep the blood as balanced as possible, because it's so important to keep it balanced. If you had an acute issue in the blood, you will die really quick. Just like if you would massively pollute a river, which is like the bloodstream of the earth, if you would pollute that, everything else will get sick around it really quick. So the body's really clever, and what it does is it puts all of its kind of problems, if you want to simplify it like that, pushes it into cells. That's why if you do something like a cellular test, like the hair tissue mineral analysis, which is a cellular test, you actually see things on a cellular level, and you get much more accuracy in terms of what's going off in your body. Now, in terms of adrenals, something fishy is going on, because if you go and talk to a doctor, they either have you either have good adrenals or you have Addison's disease, which is a complete shutdown of your adrenals. Where's the in-between section? No one talks about that, and it's super simple to test for adrenal insufficiency. I mean, you don't even have to do a test. You know, you just have to kind of measure someone's heart rate, get them to lie down for a little bit, get them to stand up and measure the heart rate, you know, and if the heart starts, you know, if the heart beats at a certain, so you got to measure the ratio a little bit, but you don't even need an invasive test. It's super simple to test for it. Another quick test, which is not as good really for adrenal fatigue, is, you know, if you scratch your arm, see how long it takes to go red. If it takes a long time to go red, then you're probably suffering from adrenal fatigue. If your pupils are dilated in the light, again, you're probably suffering from some adrenal fatigue. So that's probably my answer to that. No, this person's talking about the no gallbladder. Oh God, there's a lot of questions. Suffering from any symptoms you had before you start the copper toxicity. Yeah, a lot of people are suffering from copper toxicity symptoms. Yes, Lewis, I've been told I have bloodstones in my pelvis as well. I know this is calcium. They said they're calcium blood clots. There you go. You're definitely suffering from some calcium dysregulation. What do you think about dry fasting? I imagine that's some sort of different type of fasting. My computer's pretty slow, but what I will say about fasting is we generally find that people today are really, really malnourished, super, super malnourished. And although fasting worked really well probably 1,000, 2,000 years ago, we found through empirical evidence that fasting doesn't seem to work as well these days, especially for people that are super malnourished. There's no way I could have fasted 8 years ago because I was so sugar intolerant. So dry fasting is done without food or water. So I would say it's probably even more worse. People are so malnourished these days that fasting actually just stresses out the adrenal glands even more. Whereas if you was living 2,000 years ago, you was relaxed, you know, life was much more easier. You was eating good quality organic food, even wild food. Then your body was probably fairly well nourished. So if you was to fast, you'll be able to cleanse the body out much more. But we find that when people fast these days and they're super malnourished, actually what they'll do is they start ruining their adrenal glands and the thyroid gland even further. So I wouldn't personally recommend it. Dr. Wilson used to work in a fasting center. He was I think he was like one of the chairmen or something, like in a fasting center. So he knows full well the pros and cons of fasting. And he says in his articles and on his podcasts, on his audio files, that he just didn't see the results that he was expecting. And what he realized over the years is that people are just too malnourished these days to fast because we do not get the vitamins and minerals that we would have got from when we've got good soil and good vegetables and organic wild things. These days, people are just full of toxins and chemicals that it just doesn't work too well, unfortunately. Can you give a basic summary of why Accutane causes illness? Is it mainly liver damage? Well, the thing, Accutane is a pure form of synthetic vitamin A. So it's like a steroid. And when you're putting that stuff into the system, it's so overwhelmingly powerful that the liver just has a really, really hard time breaking it down. It's just so unnatural for the liver to break down. It's like drinking poison, and the liver just struggles. It cannot properly synthesize the Accutane that's been ingested. It just can't do it. So it starts to damage itself. That's basically what happens. I don't know what else it happens, but once you start getting liver toxicity, the enzymes that bind to things like copper, for example, stop being produced properly. The adrenal glands in the liver aren't speaking to each other properly. You start to get a depletion of the adrenal glands. You start to get an increase of things like copper toxicity. The detox pathways start to stop working. So then you're getting increased arsenic and mercury and lead, and it just completely burns out the system. I don't really know what else Accutane does specifically, but I know it causes severe dry eye. It causes severe chapped lips. It causes your natural oil glands to basically stop working. So it's a powerful drug, and I think it should actually be removed from medicine, because what it does to some people is absolutely overwhelmingly terrible. So I almost passed out with a coffee enema. Yeah, hard for me, hard for me to answer questions like that. I probably need a little bit more information. I don't know. Maybe probably I don't know if you've probably got really, really bad adrenal fatigue and you're not doing things correctly, or you need to reduce the coffee or the amount of liquid that's going into the body or something. If you want more help, so yeah, it looks like you've just started coffee anyway. So if you I don't know, you probably passed out. You probably feel like you're passing out because sometimes the body's just not used to this sort of stuff, and it can um, it can shock the kidneys and stuff into wondering what the hell's going on. The best thing to do is to probably, as you said, start off with warm water enemas. Don't use any more than a cup of water, which is, I don't have a cup on me now. It's not a lot. I've got this candle holder. I mean, it's not much more than that, really. A cup's probably this high. People putting in 1 litre, 2 litre, don't do that. That's going to make things worse. Just start off with a small cup of water. Maybe do that once every 2 days or once every 3 days, just to get your body used to regulating an influx of liquids. And then maybe after 2 weeks, add maybe half a teaspoon of coffee, or even half a tablespoon of coffee, and just see how you feel and work your way up. Some people are sensitive to coffee in the beginning. That's why it's good for people to simmer the coffee for about 10 minutes, because it burns off some of the caffeine. If you're a baby and you are ill and cry a lot, does this actually? All right, so yeah, I think this needs to be rewritten a little bit. If you are a baby and you are ill and cry a lot, trauma, does this actually trauma? So maybe is this actually trauma you, and be a trauma that needs healing and cause soul fragmentation, or is it only when you're a child who has memory? It's probably, I'm not too sure, if I'm being honest. It's difficult to say what type of trauma will cause soul fragmentation and what type of trauma won't. In general, for your soul to be fragmented, we're talking serious, serious trauma. Babies' souls are very intelligent, and it can have the potential to leave the body of a physical child before the child actually has what we would call memory. But you've got to realize that soul fragmentation only happens in severe states. I mean, we're talking severe beatings, you know, severe rape. This might have happened in a past life, you know, so you might have soul fragmentation that's happened in a previous life that you still need to ask all your souls to come back. Generally, the nutritional balancing program will do that, but it's hard to know exactly what's going on. I suppose God only knows, you know. It might be a combination of past life. It might be a combination of a severe trauma that you've had when you was a child, before memory or after memory. Something that it doesn't really matter in one sense. Just assume that you probably have soul fragmentation on one level. Just assume that. That's probably the best way to do it, because that means that you're going to care for your body and care for your soul even more. So if you feel that to be the case, then just do the nutritional balancing program and ask in prayer all the time for all of your soul bodies to return to your body. Probably a very esoteric esoteric tangent I've just gone off there, so I hope I haven't scared people off that are quite new to the way that I kind of approach life. How do you find time to eat 3 times a day with all those procedures? I'm on 2 meals now. So yeah, I'm sure maybe you've seen my video on how to cook and eat while doing a nutritional balancing program. In that video, I show you guys what I do. Basically, in the morning, I will chop all my vegetables, put them into a pressure cooker, and that will feed me throughout the day. So that takes me, you know, maybe 10 minutes max to chop the veg, pop it in a pressure cooker, and the pressure cooker's on for, you know, no longer really than 6 minutes. So that's 16 minutes. And then I eat, which takes me around 15 minutes to eat. At lunchtime, because I've put the lid on the pressure cooker, the food is still warm. So at lunchtime, I will take out my food and eat again. It's another 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you want to eat super slow. And then when it gets to dinner time, I'll heat up the vegetables again. It's okay to reheat the vegetables once, you know, one time, reheat the vegetables. And again, that's another 15 minutes to eat. So it's definitely quite easy to do, actually. One of the easier things to do. Hey there, white man. Secretly black. What deficiencies would most likely cause terrible hormonal fluctuations during menopause? Sorry, I'm just reading some of the questions. What deficiencies would most likely cause terrible hormone fluctuations during menopause? So yeah, a lot of people, most women suffer from copper imbalance when it comes to things like menopause and PMS. That's probably the biggest one, the relationship between copper and zinc. However, as we all know, the human body is an incredibly complex biological machine. So you can't just isolate them sorts of stuff. You know, if you're having big menopausal fluctuations on one level, you know, kind of normal. But when it gets extreme, generally the body's under a lot of stress, adrenal wise. The copper and zinc balance is out of balance. The HPA axis is out of balance. So I don't know who this is. Is this one of my clients? You know, obviously a nutritional hair mineral analysis test will give you a better indicator of what's going on, but kind of got to tackle things at all angles, as I'm sure you guys know. Balancing out copper is not as simple as reducing copper foods and eating more zinc. It's much more integrated than that. So yeah. Happy New Year, Lewis. Happy New Year, Brandon. What was your energy and digestion like during a period of fast oxidation? I feel that the high fat really makes me quite sluggish in digestion and physically. Also, could a fast oxidizer high fat caused me to absorb the coffee enemas. I only expel like half, and I don't feel good after them like I used to. So yeah, I'm assuming that you're 100% a fast oxidizer. If you feel that high fat is making you feel sluggish, then maybe you've changed into a slow oxidizer. That's usually what happens. It shouldn't make you feel sluggish, really. So you've probably changed. How did I feel in fast oxidation? I don't like fast oxidation. When I first began the program and I was reading about nutrition balancing, I just assumed that fast oxidation was good. I thought, oh wow, fast oxidation is a good thing to be in. I do notice when I'm in fast oxidation that the worst thing is to sleep. It's just hard to sleep, but my energy is really high, and I can burn food much easier. So if I eat some carbs, for example, like I used to be sensitive to blue corn chips, if I eat them or some almond butter, I would burn through it really quick. It wouldn't make me feel sluggish like it would do if I'm in slow oxidation. If my oxidation gets too high, then I feel super anxious. But I can do things that I just can't do in slow oxidation. I remember one time when I moved into fast oxidation quite a few years back, and I had a few drink of beer and just burnt through them, no problem. Didn't have any hangover in the morning, just because my body was just burning through it. Now, if you put me into sluggish, slow oxidation, really slow oxidation, literally I could just have one pint and it would just ruin me for the next 2 days because my body just couldn't burn through it quick enough. In general, I prefer to be a mild slow. I've generally been. I used to be extreme slow back when I was ill. Then I moved into fast oxidation temporarily when I was releasing toxins. That wasn't a good time for me. Being in 4 lows a couple of times, being in 4 lows makes you feel like you're in fast oxidation sometimes. You do have energy, but mainly because your calcium magnesium is low. So it's like running, it's like being outside in the storm without an umbrella. You've got no protection, so it does feel quite energetic. But yeah, that's how I feel. If you're interested, it's probably how you guys feel as well. Does a nutritional balancing program eliminate DP/DR, depression, visual snow, etc., headaches, brain fog, just because of the price? I don't want to be spending 100. Well, it's not 140, it's 160. If nothing will happen. I haven't put 400 video. Me and Luke haven't put 400 videos on YouTube because this doesn't work. I've genuinely healed all of that stuff. Like, if you can't see the fact that I'm a genuine person, then it's probably not a good idea to even start with any sort of practitioner. I help hundreds of people now, and I can empirically say that these people have been helped, have improved, have healed themselves. You've got to also realize that the price that I charge people is absolutely nothing. The price that I charge includes a hair analysis test. It includes a 30-page booklet, which, bearing in mind, I have to pay for them 2 things out of that cost. Not only do you get that, you get Dr. Wilson will overlook all of your tests, and you get a supplementation program. This person is the leading expert in the world. Then you get a Skype chat that lasts up to an hour. Then you get access to my WhatsApp group where we're constantly answering questions. Then you get 6 months of email support. And I can't remember. I don't think I've ever told anyone, actually, there's people that have emailed me after 8 months, 9 months, a year. I generally email them back. And you get phone calls. So you can't say that this is I charge too much, like 100% not. I do this because I want to help people, so obviously I am legally not allowed to turn around and say to anyone, this will fix, this will cure you. Legally not allowed to do that. And also it's down to you as well, like how well do you follow the program, how sick you are. If you're like super, super ill and you're a 60-year-old man, like you're going to struggle. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. Are you going to follow the program diligently? Are you going to get yourself up to scratch with things like healing reactions, which it takes people by surprise, the healing reactions, so that's basically in a nutshell. I would be way more suspicious of someone who doesn't have all of this information on YouTube, who doesn't come on YouTube and do live chats for free, and who charges more than that. That's super cheap. I kind of, I'll put it out there. If you can find someone who can give you all that I give you for cheaper, then please put me in touch with that person, because I want to congratulate them because they're doing a good job. Cool. Could a fast oxidizer high-fat diet? Oh, sorry, this was an additional question. Could a fast oxidizer high-fat diet cause me to absorb the coffee enemas? Potentially. Your body is processing things quicker, so you could potentially take more in. I would say make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're drinking 3 liters of water a day, and you will expel more. Another thing I like to do sometimes when I can't expel the coffee enema is sit on the toilet and visualize the coffee enema coming out of your system. That works really well, actually. A visualization of it coming out, it kind of like tricks the brain into just releasing coffee enema. Another thing to do is do a flat-footed squat. So squat down for a little bit, get a squatty potty, which is basically just a step that you put your feet on when you go into the toilet, and it helps with the natural flow that the body should be in when it's going to the toilet, when it's going to the bathroom. Just like you would if you was in a forest. That's what we've been doing for hundreds of thousands of years, is we've not been sat down on a toilet, so it's harder for the colon to get the right angle. So I actually use a squatty potty in my bathroom, whereby when I sit on the toilet, it lifts my knees up to my chest, and it allows the colon to have the correct angle for releasing, poo. So you might want to think about getting one of them. What about a finished sauna, 4-infrared sauna? Because they don't have a near-infrared sauna. The best thing to do is read Dr. Wilson's article on the differences between, a far and near. I think actually the second best sauna to a near-infrared sauna is a wood-burning sauna. I think that's even better than a far infrared one. But you can build one for yourself. That's the best thing to do. Build one for yourself. It costs hardly nothing to build a sauna. I've built one. Just buy your near-infrared sauna builds online and just find some sort of enclosure, create an enclosure, even if you create it out of towels if you need to. It's absolutely fine. I've been experiencing pain throughout my body. This could maybe have something to do with my symptoms. I agree. Obviously, pain throughout the body is going to, increase your symptoms. Pain's a difficult one. Dr. Wilson's got a good article on pain, actually, that would go into much more detail than me. So type in Dr. L. Wilson pain on Google and read that article. If I stop masturbating, will my visual snore decrease? I can't answer questions like that because I don't know. It's too complicated. However, stopping masturbation, from my experience, has definitely improved my eyesight and the eyesight of many of my clients and the eyesight of thousands of people. The reason is, in simple terms, that the eyes need a lot of zinc to function. When you're masturbating and losing fluids, you're losing a lot of nutrients and a lot of zinc. And the body will take away zinc that it needs to heal, especially the eyes, and it will create new fluid because that's what it needs to do. So in general, if I would recommend you to stop masturbating anyway. But yeah, you heard of the old wives' tale, don't play with your tail, it'll make you go blind. Well, maybe there's something in that. That's what my mum used to tell me when I was a kid. Like, I was playing with my tail for whatever reason. She was like, don't do that, you'll go blind. Maybe there's something in that. And I think probably you're right. So stop doing it. But you shouldn't be, it's like slow rape, masturbation. So stop doing it. It's going to help you in so many different ways. It's unbelievable how many different ways stopping masturbation will improve your health and well-being and your mentalness. How do you reheat your food? If I've cooked my vegetables in the pressure cooker, I'll leave my vegetables in there throughout the day, and at the end of the day I just turn the gas back on and boil the water again and do it that way. If you do it once, it's fine. So that's how I reheat my food. Did you have visual snow? And if you did it go away? I did have visual snow, and I do get it mildly at night, and but I have spoke to a lot of people, a lot of my friends, and I've asked them, do they see, visual snow at night? And they do. So I do believe that I actually see normal now. I used to see that vision in the daytime as well, but I no longer see that. Although, if I do get super stressed, it will gradually come back. But yeah, I do believe that my eyesight is now the same as everyone else's. Whereabouts are you based in the UK? I'm based in Sheffield. What is going on in the body when in the span of a year you can no longer handle drinking even a small glass of wine? Next morning it's like I drank a whole bottle. You need to, one interesting fact that I know is that the liver is super, super intelligent, and actually the liver can be 2/3 dead and you would still be functioning correctly. So it only needs to go from 66% dead to 67% dead until you start seeing symptoms. So you'd probably just hit that threshold. You probably hit the threshold where the liver can't take it anymore. All of a sudden, you can go from drinking a lot of wine to not being able to handle wine at all. But in general, you want to stay away from wine anyway. It's super, super toxic for the liver. I drank way too much Sainsbury's cheap house wine, and I ended up getting severe arsenic toxicity as a result. So that's not good. Have you tried the coffee hold mouth trick? How often do you do coffee enemas? Yeah, I've done the coffee in the mouth. Not really done it consistently for long periods of time, but I assume it's good. That trick, I think Dr. Wilson added that into the program like 5 years after I first started, so I didn't really get fully into it, but I would definitely, give it a shot if I was you. Probably good for kind of tooth infections and stuff like that. I do tend to do a coffee enema every day. Generally, I will do one back to back, so that's a coffee enema after each other. Sometimes I'll have a day or two off. I can generally feel when my body just needs a little bit of catch-up time. I'm quite sensitive to understanding that now. But yeah, pretty much every day. I will never do a coffee enema. Hold on. I think you should do a coffee enema. It's one of them things that people don't realize how easy it is and how beneficial it is until you actually do one. So, just put the taboo to one side and just give it a shot, because it's probably going to be one of the best things you can do. I mean, think about it from simple terms. Someone says to you, okay, you've got two options. One, you can live your life with liver toxicity and you're going to have these symptoms for the rest of your life. Or two, you can go in the bathroom for 20 minutes every day and not even tell everyone what you do a simple, easy coffee enema that lasts for 20 minutes, and you can fix the symptoms that you could potentially have for the rest of your life. To me, I know which one I'm going to choose. When I first heard about coffee enemas and how it could improve me, I did not care one bit. You could have shoved anything up there. I was like, I am so sick of these symptoms. Like, do whatever needs to be done, you know. So if I was you, you know, I would kick the ego and give it a blast, because you'll never look back. Everyone has a similar feeling when they first begin, and actually when they do it, they are super like amazed at how beneficial it is for them. Not being able to drink a small amount of alcohol is about adrenal burnout. Yeah, well, you're probably burnt out if you can't drink a small amount of alcohol. You've probably got severe liver toxicity. Probably the liver's probably more linked to that specific thing. I have 65% improvement in the past year without coffee enemas. Add coffee enemas, you might get another 35. Yes, no fap is a blessing and must for healing and for business. Also, I notice every time I relapse badly, my VS increases a lot, brain fog and all that bad thing. So there we go. We got a person in the chat there saying that their visual snore increases when they masturbate. I need 45 minutes of sauna before beginning to. By the way, this is the last question. So if you're in the background and you want to ask a question, then ask it. If not, I'm going to shoot off pretty soon. I need 45 minutes of sauna before beginning to sweat. Is it okay to stay that long? Hard to find the time and motivation to do it every day with that time. What's best, enema or sauna? Maybe you can't get the sauna hot enough. The best thing to do is to get one of these. If you can see it. There we go. This is a space heater. I put it on sometimes to heat up my room when it's a bit too cold. Pop that in the sauna, and that will heat up the whole sauna area. At the same time, put on the lamps as well. So sometimes when you're in the sauna lamps and there's air around you that's a little bit cooler, it's hard for the body to get itself hot enough to sweat. So if you use a space heater, put that on 10 minutes. Put that on 10 minutes before you get in with the lamps, and then get in there. I would imagine you'll sweat much quicker. Ever since I had this pain, all symptoms started. That's unfortunate. Hopefully you can start a nutrition balancing program with me and we can deal with all that sort of stuff. Can you reassure everyone and NB that we are getting enough vitamin C in the cooked veg without supplementing? Vitamin C is in pretty much every single vegetable that you will eat. Stop worrying about vitamin C. It is absolutely everywhere. It's one of the most common vitamins you can possibly get. It's in pretty much every vegetable. You know, try and find me a vegetable without vitamin C, and it's probably a better thing to do. Any tips with dealing with visual snore? You've got to do the program. You've got to balance copper. You've got to fix candida. You've got to fix parasites. You've got to remove mercury and arsenic. You've got to increase zinc. You've got to stop masturbating. You know, if you want a quick tip now, probably stop masturbating. But in general, you're going to have to follow a nutrition balancing program to get to the deep root of all of this stuff, because it's not something you can easily fix overnight, unfortunately, from my experience anyway. What do you think of castor oil packs? I believe them to be pretty good if you want to put them on the liver. They're not too powerful, so we don't really recommend doing them in the nutrition balancing program because they're just not that powerful. But if you want to do them, then by all means do them. They're not harmful. We don't tell you to stay away from big castor oil packs. Isn't better to add coffee enemas after you build more energy by diet and lifestyle? Can't it be more exhausting doing coffee enemas when you already feel tired? The way to build your energy is to remove toxins, and you're going to have to do some detox protocols to remove toxins. Unfortunately, diet and lifestyle are not going to do the business. So unfortunately, you've got to put up with some extra fatigue and detoxing in the meantime. And that's just one of the things that you're gonna have to put up with, I'm afraid. Thanks for doing this, Lewis. I appreciate it. No problem. It's my pleasure. How many carbs do you eat beside cooked vegetables, blue corn chips, popcorn, bread, etc.? Do you only eat meat and vegetables? No, I eat the carbs that Dr. Wilson recommends. I eat some blue corn chips mainly. That's my main source of carbs. Today I had a bit of quinoa. Now and again, I eat millet. But you know that I mainly eat blue corn chips as my source of carbs. Wait, are you serious about? I'm guessing it's about the visual snow. I'm being dead serious. I mean, there's a reason why not many people can heal visual snow, and it's because it's a very integrated, in-depth process of doing it. And generally, a lot of people who got visual snow, they need to stop focusing on visual snow because 9 times out of 10, even 9.9 times out of 10, they've got 10, 20, 30 other symptoms that they don't realize they need to fix before the visual snow actually fixes itself. So, you know, if I had a magic bullet to help you get rid of visual snow, then I would be a rich man. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm here to help people. You know, if you do want my help and advice, I can help you and I can get to the bottom of your problems. But if you want, you know, a quick ease to visual snow, stop eating sugar, eat more vegetables, eat some meat, and stop masturbating and keep all your zinc, and you'll probably see some improvements a little bit. But you really need to follow something like the Nutritional Balancing Program to fully heal everything. All right, guys. Well, that's everything for now. This has been a good one. I've enjoyed it. It's been really cool. Thanks for watching, and I will speak to you all next time. If you want to start the program with me, then please feel free to send me an email. My email is lewis@deephealingspace.com, LEWIS. All right, guys, tune in next time, and I'll speak to you all soon. Ciao.